Welcome, friends. Today we are going to dive deep into a topic that intrigues many men: how to attract a woman and make her fall in love with you. But unlike other approaches that often rely on manipulation or tricks, we're going to explore this through the lens of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy of personal growth, inner peace, and emotional mastery. The truth is, real attraction doesn't begin with gimmicks or superficial strategies. It begins with something much deeper, with you. The path to love, to meaningful connection, starts from within, and that's what we'll be exploring today. Before we dive in, I want you to reflect on this. I attract love by becoming love. Write it down in the comments below. This is a guiding principle that reminds us that the love we seek starts from within us. By becoming the best version of yourself, by embodying the virtues of patience, wisdom, and self-mastery, you naturally attract the people who align with those qualities. When you become the embodiment of love, peace, and self-respect, others can't help but notice. And more than notice, they'll be drawn to you. This discussion will cover how you can live out these principles in your life, how you can cultivate a sense of inner strength, emotional mastery, and self-assurance that makes you attractive on a deep, meaningful level. We're not talking about superficial attraction here. We're talking about the kind of attraction that creates lasting connections. So, let's get started. The first and most important idea that we'll explore today is this: everything starts with you. It begins with how you carry yourself, how you think, how you respond to life's challenges. If you want to attract a woman, or really anyone, into your life in a meaningful, lasting way, you have to ask yourself first, am I the kind of person that others would want to be with? Now, this question isn't about beating yourself up or picking apart your flaws. Stoicism teaches us that self-awareness is the foundation of all growth. As the philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This means you need to define who you are and what you stand for before you expect others to connect with you. Many people make the mistake of seeking validation from others, especially in relationships. They think, if this person falls in love with me, then I'll finally feel worthy or complete. But here's the truth: no one can complete you. No relationship, no amount of attention or affection from another person will ever fill that void inside you if you don't first cultivate a sense of worthiness and wholeness from within. This is where Stoicism comes into play in a very profound way. The Stoics teach us that we cannot control what happens outside of us, whether that's the actions of other people or the circumstances of life. What we can control is how we respond, how we act, and how we carry ourselves. This is a powerful realization when it comes to relationships. You can't force someone to love you. You can't manipulate someone into falling for you. But you can work on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts love by focusing on your own growth and character. When you begin to develop self-awareness, when you start to align your actions with your values, you build a kind of internal strength that others notice. Confidence, groundedness, peace. These qualities don't come from external achievements or material success. They come from knowing yourself deeply, accepting your strengths and weaknesses, and working to improve yourself from the inside out. This is why the journey toward attracting love doesn't begin with figuring out what others want from you. It begins with figuring out who you are, what you stand for, and how you want to live your life. Consider this. What does it mean to be truly attractive? Is it about looks, status, wealth? While those things might get someone's attention temporarily, they don't sustain a deep connection. Real attraction comes from how you carry yourself and how you live your life. Are you kind? Are you reliable? Are you emotionally mature? Are you someone who inspires others, not through words, but through actions? These are the traits that people are drawn to, traits that are developed through self-discipline, self-awareness, and the practice of virtue. Let me tell you this: When you stop chasing external validation and start focusing on your own growth, people notice. They're drawn to the calm confidence that radiates from someone who is secure in themselves. They're attracted to the quiet strength of someone who doesn't need constant reassurance because they already know their worth. And this is where Stoicism offers us a roadmap, not just for becoming more attractive to others, but for becoming the best version of ourselves, period. This leads us to the next principle, one that's often misunderstood: confidence. Now, when many people think of confidence, they think of bravado, someone who's loud, outgoing, always the center of attention. But real confidence, according to Stoicism, is something much deeper. It's not about dominating the room or seeking attention. It's about knowing who you are, staying true to your values, and being comfortable in your own skin. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, confidence isn't about talking a big game. It's about living a life that's in alignment with your principles. When you live with integrity, when you do what's right even when it's difficult, you naturally cultivate confidence. This is because you know deep down that you are living a life of value and purpose. Now, think about the kind of people you're naturally drawn to. Is it the person who's constantly trying to impress others, who boasts about their accomplishments, who always needs validation? Or is it the person who quietly goes about their life, doing what they know is right, without needing to draw attention to themselves? It's often the latter. We are naturally drawn to people who are confident in a quiet, unassuming way. People who don't need to prove anything to anyone because they know who they are. Confidence isn't something you can fake. You can pretend to be confident for a while, but eventually people will see through it. Real confidence comes from doing the inner work, from understanding your own strengths and weaknesses, from accepting yourself as you are, and from continually striving to be a better version of yourself. This kind of confidence is attractive because it's authentic. It's grounded in self-awareness and self-acceptance, not in external validation or approval. When you cultivate this kind of confidence, you don't need to chase people or try to make them like you. You don't need to manipulate situations to get someone's attention. Instead, you naturally attract people to you because they sense your calm, grounded energy. They're drawn to your quiet strength, your inner peace, and your emotional maturity. And this is the kind of confidence that Stoicism helps us develop. The kind that comes from within, not from external achievements or approval. But confidence is just one piece of the puzzle. Another essential element of attraction, according to Stoicism, is non-attachment. Now, this can be a difficult concept to grasp, especially in the context of relationships. After all, isn't love about attachment? Don't we want to feel close to the people we care about? While that may be true, Stoicism teaches us that becoming overly attached, whether to a person, a desired outcome, or an idea, often leads to suffering. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a reminder that while we cannot control other people's actions or emotions, we can control how we respond to them. And this is where the concept of non-attachment comes in. Non-attachment doesn't mean you don't care about the people in your life. It means you don't base your happiness or sense of self-worth on their actions or feelings. When you become overly attached to someone, to the point where your happiness is dependent on their love or approval, you give away your power. You place your well-being in the hands of someone else, which can lead to anxiety, insecurity, and even desperation. But when you practice non-attachment, you free yourself from this emotional dependency. You allow the relationship to unfold naturally without trying to control or manipulate it. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but it's often the case that when you stop chasing someone, they become more drawn to you. Why? Because when you're not attached to the outcome, when you're not desperate for their love or attention, you radiate a sense of calm and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who don't need them to feel complete. They're attracted to those who are already whole on their own. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where you wanted someone's attention so badly that it consumed you? Maybe you checked your phone constantly, hoping for a message. Maybe you analyzed every interaction, trying to figure out what you did wrong or how you could win them over. This kind of attachment creates a sense of anxiety and desperation, which often pushes people away. But when you practice non-attachment, when you let go of the need for a specific outcome, you free yourself from this emotional roller coaster. You become more relaxed, more at peace, and more attractive to others. Stoicism teaches us that the only thing we can truly control is ourselves, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses. When you stop trying to control the actions or emotions of others, you create space for genuine connection. You allow the relationship to develop naturally without forcing it or placing unrealistic expectations on it. And in doing so, you attract people who are drawn to your sense of calm, your emotional independence, and your inner strength. This leads us to the next important concept: emotional mastery. In relationships, emotions often run high, whether it's the excitement of a new connection, the fear of rejection, or the uncertainty of where things are headed. But Stoicism teaches us that we should strive to master our emotions, not suppress them, but learn to understand and manage them in a healthy way. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Emotional mastery is about recognizing that while you may not be able to control external events, you can control how you respond to them. This is a key principle in Stoicism, and it's incredibly important when it comes to relationships. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who is emotionally volatile, someone who reacts impulsively, who gets angry or upset at the slightest provocation. Now contrast that with someone who stays calm, composed, and thoughtful even in difficult situations. Which person would you rather be with? Which person would make you feel more secure and grounded in the relationship? Emotional mastery is about being able to stay calm and centered, even when things aren't going your way. It's about not letting your emotions dictate your actions, but instead learning to process them in a healthy and constructive way. When you can do this, you bring a sense of stability and peace to your relationships, which is incredibly attractive. People are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally stable, those who don't fly off the handle at the first sign of trouble, who don't let their emotions control them. When you can remain calm and composed, even in challenging situations, you demonstrate a level of emotional maturity that is rare and valuable. Now, this doesn't mean that you suppress your emotions or pretend that you don't feel anything. Stoicism isn't about denying your humanity. It's about learning to navigate your emotions in a way that aligns with your higher self. It's about understanding that while emotions are a natural part of life, they don't have to control you. When you cultivate emotional mastery, you become someone who can handle life's ups and downs with grace and composure. This makes others feel safe and secure in your presence because they know that you won't be easily shaken by external events. And in a world where emotional volatility is all too common, this kind of emotional resilience is incredibly attractive. But emotional mastery doesn't just benefit your relationships with others, it also benefits your relationship with yourself. When you learn to manage your emotions, you become more at peace with yourself. You stop reacting impulsively to every little challenge that comes your way, and instead, you approach life with a sense of calm and clarity. And this brings us to the next key idea: integrity and authenticity. In Stoicism, living with integrity is one of the highest virtues. It means being true to yourself, living in alignment with your values, and not compromising who you are for the sake of external approval. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. What he's saying here is that you shouldn't be afraid to be yourself, even if it means going against the grain or being misunderstood by others. Authenticity is a rare and valuable trait, especially in today's world where so many people feel the need to put on a facade to impress others. When it comes to attracting a woman, or anyone for that matter, the most important thing you can do is be yourself. If you're constantly trying to mold yourself into what you think someone else wants, you'll never be truly happy. And even if you do manage to win someone over by pretending to be someone you're not, the relationship will eventually fall apart because it wasn't built on a foundation of honesty and authenticity. Women, like most people, are incredibly perceptive when it comes to authenticity. They can sense when someone is being genuine and when someone is putting on an act. And while you might be able to fool someone for a little while, eventually the truth will come out. That's why it's so important to live with integrity, to be honest about who you are, what you believe, and what you stand for. When you live authentically, you attract people who appreciate you for who you really are, not for the person you're pretending to be. And that's the kind of connection you want. A relationship built on mutual respect, honesty, and trust. When you're true to yourself, you'll naturally attract people who align with your values and who are drawn to your authenticity. Living with integrity doesn't mean you're perfect. It means you're real. It means you're willing to be vulnerable, to show your true self, flaws and all. And when you do that, you create the possibility for deep, meaningful connections. But here's the thing. Living with integrity and authenticity takes courage. It means being willing to stand by your values even when it's difficult. It means being willing to be misunderstood or judged by others. But the reward is worth it. When you live authentically, you build relationships that are based on real connection, not superficial attraction. So as you go through life, remember this. Be true to yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not just to win someone over. Live with integrity, and you'll attract the kind of people who are drawn to the real you, not the version of you that's trying to impress others. And finally, let's talk about one of the most important lessons Stoicism teaches us: the art of letting go. In relationships, as in life, we often hold on too tightly to things, whether it's people, ideas, or outcomes. But Stoicism reminds us that true freedom comes from letting go of the things we can't control. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. How much time do we waste clinging to relationships that no longer serve us, holding on to people who have already moved on, or trying to control outcomes that are beyond our reach?" Letting go doesn't mean you don't care about someone. It doesn't mean you're giving up on love. It simply means that you're releasing your attachment to the outcome, trusting that whatever is meant to be will unfold in its own time. When you let go of the need to control, you free yourself from the emotional burden of attachment. You allow yourself to move forward with grace and peace. Letting go is one of the most difficult but powerful acts of love. It shows that you trust the process of life, that you have faith in yourself, and that you know your worth doesn't depend on someone else's presence in your life. It's about recognizing that your happiness comes from within, not from external circumstances or relationships. And here's the paradox. Sometimes when you let go, you create the space for someone to return. By releasing your attachment, you allow the relationship to breathe, to evolve naturally without pressure or control. And often, that's when people are drawn back to you, not because you forced them, but because you created the emotional freedom that allows love to flourish. So, as you go through life, remember this. Let go of the need to control. Trust that what is meant for you will come in its own time. And when you approach relationships with this mindset, you'll find that you attract people who respect your independence, who appreciate your emotional resilience, and who are drawn to your sense of inner peace. So, what have we learned today? Stoicism teaches us that true attraction isn't about tricks or strategies. It's about becoming the best version of yourself, developing inner confidence, emotional mastery, authenticity, and the ability to let go of outcomes you can't control. When you focus on cultivating these qualities within yourself, you naturally attract people who resonate with your energy. And that's the kind of connection that lasts. Before we go, I want you to leave a comment below saying, "I attract love by becoming love." Let this serve as your daily reminder that everything starts from within. If you found value in today's discussion, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might benefit from these insights. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, stay calm, stay grounded, and remember, true power lies within.